Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 times Castlevania characters went beast mode.
Oh, for God's sake.
For no more do I travel as a man.
Alucard goes over the top and we support him.
For this list, we're going to be looking over the moments where the cast of this hit Netflix adaptation of the long-running video game franchise went off the chain. Rampages, displays of dominance, any scene that has these characters letting loose their inner alpha are all up for consideration. Which vampiric veteran gets your blood pumping? Let us know in the comments. If you like what you're hearing, be sure to check out the full song at the link below. Number 10. Dracula threatens Godbrand. Even in a weakened state and plagued by grief, the Lord of all Vampires is not a man to be messed with, as Godbrand quickly discovered. Worried about the possibility of their human blood banks running low, the Viking vampire confronts Dracula about the sustainability of their way of living should his plan of exterminating all humans come to fruition.
You'll be taken care of, Godbrand.
Yes, of course, right. Except, what if we're not?
The relentless inquiries eventually cross a line, however, leading to Dracula uttering one of the most intimidating monologues in animation.
Little Godbrand. Little vampire. Little parasite.
He may not have killed Godbrand, but you feel his soul dying with every threat uttered.
Get out before I slit you up the middle and bite out your heart.
Number 9. Cho's Dance of Death. They may have cultural differences, but if there's one thing that vampires share, it's their enjoyment when it comes to playing with their food. In a flashback, Sumi and Taka explain how a key member of Dracula's court took great pleasure in showing her subjects the hopelessness of defying her will.
This was how it was. Every day. Some new horror. Some new punishment.
And by that, we mean she allowed anyone to challenge her so she could slowly rip them apart. Cho's movements are as graceful as they are deadly, leading to one unfortunate samurai's rather painful end.
You read her books and listened to her legend, and wish only for the chance to free our people from her teeth.
Number 8. Trevor vs. Night Creatures. While on the verge of finding a way to gain access to Dracula's castle, the Belmont Library comes under siege from wandering demons.
Oh, for God's sake.
Naturally, it falls to Trevor to have to fend them off, while Sypha finishes her incantations. It's here that we really see just how much of an expert monster slayer Trevor truly is, using his family's ancestral weapon, the Morning Star, to take down a Minotaur, a demon priest, and a whole bunch of other hellspawn. He may be a drunk, but he's also a Belmont through and through.
Probably just as well I didn't get to play with the whip when I was a kid.
Number 7. Trevor vs. Alucard.
Why are you here?
Before they were besties, they were trying to rip each other apart. Upon discovering the so-called sleeping soldier prophesied to bring an end to Dracula, Trevor and Sypha get a rude awakening when it's revealed to be yet another vampire.
Let's find out.
As you'd expect, it doesn't take much for a fight to break out.
You can't do this, Belmont!
As the son of Dracula, Alucard's strength and skills are inhuman, putting Trevor through his paces. It's a brilliant display of swords, whips, and banter, serving as the bedrock of what would become the show's best bromance.
Please, this isn't a bar fight. Have some class.
Number 6. Isaac vs. Godbrand. Godbrand, you never knew when to shut your mouth, did you?
It may be time for the old man to sit in his study and let the rest of us take care of this for him.
What made you think talking treason with Dracula's most dedicated disciple was going to end well?
You would betray Dracula.
Airing his grievances over Dracula's plans to exterminate humanity does not sit well with Isaac, who wastes no time punishing this act of insubordination with a brutal death. Turns out the Forge Master isn't one to be messed with, ripping open the Viking vampire with a staggering display of savagery. And this was when we learned to be very afraid of Isaac. Number 5. Dracula vs. Alucard, Trevor, and Sypha.
You couldn't stop me before.
I was alone before.
It's final boss time. In spite of his weakened mental state, the Lord of Vampires still proved himself to be more than a match for our dream trio. With his generals decimated, Dracula takes on the combined might of Trevor's weaponry, Sypha's magic, and Alucard's own vampiric strength. And you know what? It's still not enough. Dracula's own dark abilities prove to be beyond the scope of anything the trio have faced before.
I am Vlad Dracula Tepesh, and I have had enough!
Had he not come to the terrible realization of his actions against his own son, it's clear he would have slaughtered all three of them.
Please, I'm killing a boy.
Number 4. Isaac vs. Legion. Whatever your opinions of Isaac, no one can deny how epic it was to see him take on this classic Castlevania enemy. With his crusade taking him across the world, the Forge Master finds himself taking on a twisted magician and his army of brainwashed slaves. Even with plenty of night creatures at his beck and call, Isaac is placed at a distinct disadvantage when the mind-controlled masses turn into a giant ball of flesh. Not that a little thing like one of Castlevania's most celebrated boss monsters was going to stop Isaac from pulling off another win. Number 3. Dracula declares war.
1 year. I gave you 1 year to make your peace with your God. And what do? Celebrate the day you killed my wife.
The death of Lisa Tepesh wasn't only a tragedy, it was also the trigger that basically caused a vampire apocalypse.
Don't hurt them! They don't understand!
Burned at the stake for her knowledge of science, the death of his wife breaks whatever hope Dracula had for humanity, and as such decides to eradicate them all.
Take your family and leave Wallachia tonight. Pack and go, and do not look back.
Though not before delivering one of the most menacing war declarations ever.
Take my wife and deny I even exist. I give you 1 year, Wallachians. You have 1 year to make your peace.
The citizens of Wallachia really should have taken his warning to heart, with Dracula making good on his threat by letting loose his demons upon all those who wronged him. Number 2. Trevor, Sypha, and Alucard versus Dracula's forces. Alone, they were already a force to be reckoned with, but united, these three are vampire-slaying legends. En route to confront Dracula, the last Belmont, speaker magician, and vampire hybrid must cleave their way through a war hall filled with monster generals.
Begin.
Despite being outnumbered, the vampire court is nonetheless decimated by their combined might. Between Trevor's mastery of the Morningstar, Sypha's elemental magics, and Alucard's enchanted sword/wolf transformation combo, they're able to bring their enemies to bloody tears before you can blink. Before we reveal our number 1 pick, here are a few blood-drenched honorable mentions to indulge in before the final season. Carmilla makes Hector her slave. Thus begins Hector's spiral into suffering.
You are my pet now. My pet Forge Master.
You're all so rude. Isaac is just about done with humanity.
And you know what I'll say? It's because you're all so f***ing rude.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure to go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Trevor and Sypha vs. Hell's Demons. There's just no beating this power couple. With a portal to Hell opened and countless monstrosities spilling out, it falls to Trevor and Sypha to eradicate them all.
Sypha, do you have my back?
Always.
Even with fallen angels bearing down on them, these two still hold their own, going above and beyond what we thought they were capable of. Sypha straight up electrocuting the hell out of monsters double her size by getting creative with her spellcasting was beastly enough. But of course, Trevor isn't one to be outshined by anybody. Dual whipping the visitor to death with a fiery finish? Get this man a beer. Do you agree with our picks? Let us know in the comments. And hey, if you like the music playing right now, be sure to check out the full song right here.